7th Lublin Uhlan Regiment 7th Lublin Uhlan Regiment of General Kazimierz Sosnkowski Polish language 7 Pułk Ułanów Lubelskich General Kazimierza Sosnkowskiego 7 Pol was a cavalry unit of the Polish Army in the Second Polish Republic and in the Polish Armed Forces in the West. Until 1939, it was garrisoned in Mińsk Mazowiecki. The day of the regiment was on March 23, the anniversary of the decoration of its flag with the Virtuti Militari. The regiment was named after General Kazimierz Sosnkowski, who accepted the name on March 4, 1920. For 17 years it was unofficial, until November 21, 1937, when Ministry of Military Affairs officially accepted the full name 7th Regiment of Lublin Uhlans of General Kazimierz Sosnkowski. History. The regiment was formed in October 1918 in Lublin and Chelm by a group of officers of Polish Legion's 1st Uhlan Regiment, commanded by W. Władysław Belina Prasmowski. See Polish Legions in World War I. The officers decided to form 3 cavalry regiments in former Austrian part of Congress Poland. The headquarters of the Lublin Regiment was located in the barracks of Austrian Uhlans in Lublin. Its 1st and 2nd squadrons were located in Zamość, while 3rd Squadron together with a machine gun squadron were garrisoned in Krasin. On November 23, 1918, the regiment concentrated in Krasnik to be sent by rail to the Ukrainian front in eastern part of former Austrian Galicia. It fought the enemy in several locations, and on December 30, was renamed into 7th Lublin Uhlan Regiment. On February 26, 1919, the regiment was transported northwards to the area of Slonim and Lida, where it fought against the Red Army. In July 1919 it captured the rail junction of Molodczno to advance eastwards and finally reach the line of the Berezina River. On November 23 the regiment was sent to the rear to rest and recuperate. It returned to the front on January 25, 1920, and patrolled the rail line from Riga to Daugavpils. In April it was incorporated into the 1st Cavalry Brigade, and on June 28 was resent southwards, this time to Volhynia. On July 4, 1920, near Rhone, the 1st Cavalry Brigade fought a prolonged battle against 1st Cavalry Army Soviet Union of Semyon Budyani. In mid-August 1920 the regiment was sent to the area of Rajawik, where it joined 4th Cavalry Brigade, with which it fought in the Battle of Sykow. On August 31, Lublin Uhlans entered Suwałki, repelling Lithuanian attacks. On September 22 it destroyed Lithuanian units near Maricha, and on October 3 it destroyed elements of Red Army's 27th Rifle Division. Second Polish Republic. The regiment remained on the Polish-Soviet demarcation line until February 12, 1921. On that day, it marched to the railhead of Molodczno to be transported back to Krasnik. In March some of its soldiers were sent home, in April the regiment was moved to Pierzasnes, and in June Polish military authorities decided that the regiment would be permanently garrisoned in Mińsk Mazowiecki. The Uhlans arrived there on June 21. In the winter of 1922-23, elements of the regiment were sent to eastern Galicia to prevent the acts of sabotage carried out there by Ukrainian nationalists. World War II, Min II. The mobilization of the regiment was announced on August 24, 1939, at 1 a.m. By 4 p.m. on August 25, all squadrons were ready. On the next day, Regimental Commandant Colonel Leonid Lodzia Michalski was transferred to the 10th Motorized Cavalry Brigade, Poland. Under new Commandant Colonel Marian Skarzynski, the regiment marched northwards to the border with East Prussia. It took its defensive positions on August 30, and the soldiers began digging trenches, protected by barbed wire. During the 1939 invasion of Poland, Lublin Uhlans were part of Mazowiecka Cavalry Brigade. On September 13, it fought in exposed defensive position near Chorzel, to be withdrawn to Pierzasnes. On September 5-7 it defended the line of the Ner River. After crossing the Bug River, it fought in the area of Lublin, suffering heavy losses in the Battle of Sochaula September 23–24. In the final days of September 1939, elements of the regiment kept fighting both the Wehrmacht and the Red Army, trying to reach either the border with Hungary or the garrison of besieged Warsaw. During one of the clashes against the Soviets, its commandant, Colonel Marian Iskayorzynicki, was mortally wounded. Last soldiers of the regiment continued fighting until October 9, when they capitulated near Mińsk Mazowiecki. 7th Regiment of Lublin Uhlans was recreated by the Home Army. Its units fought in Operation Tempest and Warsaw Uprising. Also, an armored vehicle regiment of the 3rd Carpathian Rifle Division was named the Lublin Uhlans. Commandants of the Lublin Uhlans: Major Janusz Glachowski, Roman 11 1918, Roman 7 1920. Colonel Zygmunt Piasecki, Roman 7 1920, Roman 3 1929. Colonel Jan Tiksinski, Roman 3 1929, X 1930. Colonel Julian Filipowicz, X 1930 VI 1935. Colonel Leonid Lodzia Mikalski, 4 Roman 7 1935, Fiv Roman 8 1939. Colonel Marian Iskayorzynicki, Roman 8 Roman 9 1939. Symbols. The flag of the regiment, funded by the residents of the land of Lublin, was handed to it by General Sosnkowski in Krasnik on March 22, 1921. On the next day, in appreciation of the bravery of the soldiers, the flag was decorated by Joseph Pilsudski with Silver Cross of the Virtuti Militari. On August 26, 1939, the flag was taken with the regiment to the front line. It returned to Mińsk Mazowiecki on September 6. Saved by 2 soldiers, the flag was buried in the ground in the village of Nowodwórz, where it remained until November 1959. It now is kept at the Polish Army Museum in Warsaw. The badge was accepted by the military authorities on March 18, 1929. It was designed by Zygmunt Piasecki and manufactured by Joseph Quecksilver and Wiktor Gontarczyk from Warsaw. The regiment had its own Zorowiecka,